Hi everybody, it's Loretta, and I'm coming to you with a project and an exciting announcement about a new person that I'm designing for, Jenofeve Designs. Y'all have probably all heard of her, but if you haven't, she designs a really unique system of printable templates that are used to create, y'all, the most beautiful interactive mini albums, and this is one of them. So in this video, I'm going to share that mini album that I made using a series of templates called the Paper Dream. And then following that, I'm going to do a step-by-step tutorial on how I made all of the pages. And so, let's see, the covers, the spine, and the binding that I made were using a series of videos that Jenofeve actually did. So, I'm not going to repeat that. I will include links. So below in the description bar, there's going to be links to Jenoveve's Etsy store, where you can find the Paper Dream template, along with all of her templates. Also linked below are videos that I use for the covers, the spine, and the binding, as well as the playlist for all of the albums that you can make from the Paper Dream templates. And let me just take a second to really encourage you to go and check out Jenofeve Designs channel on YouTube. She is super creative, and her videos, y'all, are just really easy to follow. You're going to love her. So if you haven't already checked her out, or you don't already know who she is, y'all go check her out. So, okay, I'm going to just kind of go over to make this album in a day, and you can make it in a day. I used just a variety of supplies. I'm going to move this book out of the way just for a second. So, and pardon the crinkling. This is an older line from Crate Paper, and it is called Flea Market. And so that's what I used. I used a 6x6 and a 12x12. But, I mean, you know, use anything you like and just have fun. Once the supplies are selected, choose all of the paper that you're going to need to make each page. And there's 5 pages, you know, plus the cover and the back cover. Okay. Once you do that, print all the templates, cut them out, ink, and then start scoring and folding and putting them together. And I'm telling you, since all these pages are alike, this project goes super fast. Okay, so let me go through the book. I'm going to move these supplies out of the way now because we don't need those anymore. Okay, so you can see on the cover I really like to layer. I embellished it with items from the line, and the card inside here comes out. It just slides right out, and a picture can be put in there. Then the frame can be sealed down with some adhesive. Okay, so this is a really simple design where all of the pages are alike. And I like that so much because the project really does go very quickly in terms of building the mini album. And the embellishing at the very end, that's really what I love most. It's just, you know, figuring out where I want to put everything and how I want everything to look. So, I like an album that just really goes quickly. This is the front side of the page and the back side of the page. So, I guess I want to tell you that I used the back side of the page for the front cover and the back cover. And so, right here there is a tag that just slides completely out. That whole tag just comes right out. So, I really like that. And then there's also a tag in here. Another tag. That's for journaling. And, you know, that just slides in. And, of course, this pocket is made with the sacks. You'll see those later on in the videos. So let me just put that back together. So that's the front, and the back cover will be like that. And so the first page, there is secured by this little embellishment, this darling little envelope. Isn't that cute? I just love it. Okay, then this flap, it opens up, and so there's these that could be used for photo mats, and then this slides out, and then it just slides back in. Okay, so all of these pages are constructed exactly the same way. So on the back side, this is the same as the cover that I just showed you. That whole tag, and then this little one, just come right out. You have this, and then you have this cute little tag. So I'm just going to go through and show you these. I think they turned out so adorable. And I'm not going to take all of them out, but you guys get the idea. Isn't that so cute? And there's the back side. Again, the little tags that slide out. And here's this next one. So y'all, this really has room for a lot of photos and journaling. And that's what I love about it. And it's also perfect as a gift for someone who doesn't really craft that much, because it's pretty simple to figure out all the interactive features. And then here's the back side, and again, with the little tag that folds out. And this one, this is the back cover again, with the same design. There's that. So again, I am so excited, y'all, to be designing for Jenofeve. I love making mini albums. I really hope you guys like this project. So if you're interested, stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing the step-by-step page construction. So you'll know exactly how to do this album, and I hope you try it out. If you do, let me know. So let me show you guys these. I picked up these little paper sacks from Hobby Lobby. They were 50% off, and they're just little sacks. And I found that by using page 10 of the Paper Dream template, that I'm not going to do it because I'm on camera, but this page 10 is just the perfect fit for that. So I'm able to make a flap style album with the bags. I may have to trim, you know, a hair closer on either side, you know, just so I can ensure a perfect fit. I'm not going to seal. I'll have to cut off a portion of this, and I'm not going to seal this end because I'm going to use that for binding. So I just want to let you guys know that. Also, from my stash, I just went through, I like this Recollections paper. They have a lot of different colors, and so I just picked out some solid cardstock that I can use as well for the project. So, I also think I'm going to use page number 11 a lot for the pockets, etc. So, anyway, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is choose how many pages I'm going to do and which papers that I'm going to use for each page, and coordinate so that I can print. Once I've gotten that done, I'll be right back. So we're constructing first page. I would like to point out to you that the edge of the original sack look like this, but I decided I wanted to do a little something different, so I used this pair of scissors with this little scalloped edge and cut it this way. The next thing that I did was I took page 10 and I cut out the envelope section. I would like to point out that, and I'm going to put this on a piece of white paper and hopefully you can see, I cut just a little tiny bit on the inside edge of this, and then I went ahead and inked it. So the next thing that I want to do is that I want to adhere this right about here. And then this part right here, I want to be a pocket and a mat. Okay, so I've got page 11 here that I'm looking at that I know that I could construct a pocket from. So what I need to do next is choose my pattern paper, and I'll do that and be right back. I'm getting ready to cut a mat out of the patterned paper, and I thought I would show you guys how I do that. So this is page 23, and it is the insert or the mat for the envelope found on page 10. And I want to cut that mat out of this patterned paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it really nice and even on all the edges, and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to mark one side and mark the other side, just like that. Then what I'm going to do is, and let me scoot this over where I can pull this all in, I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to first cut off the top end. So I'm going to line that line that I made up. I'm going to cut that. And then I'm going to get the other line that I made. And I'm going to cut that. And then I'm going to move my cutter out of the way. And I'm going to ink this guy up. And I'm using gathered twigs. Okay, and now that is ready to adhere right there. I want a envelope flap right here rather than this. So what I did, well, I want a pocket right there actually. So what I did was I took my number 11, my page number 11, and I cut that out of pattern paper, okay, and then I made another page 11 and I cut all the flaps off so it looks like that. Okay, so now that I have these two pieces, I'm going to ink those up. Alright, and now what I want to do so that I can construct this is I'm going to cut that edge off right there. Right before where it folds. So I'm just going to eyeball this because I just need a flap. Cut that off. And so that I'm left with this, okay? And then I've got my pages that look like this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this flat one down right here, and I'm not going to cover up this place where it folds. I'm going to be real careful not to cover that. So I'll use some score tape. Just a second here. Okay. Now then, might as well put some on the other side. Well, I don't know if I'm going to need it on the other side or not. I haven't done this yet, you guys, so just bear with me. Alright, so let's go ahead. And you know what? I think I will go ahead and use my ATG gun on that side. Alright, and now I'm going to just line that up, and pardon me if my hair is in the way. Alright, so there's that. And now I'm just going to take that and adhere that on that side. So let's go ahead with that. And I am gonna put a little bit of glue stick on this just to buy me just a minute to set that pocket. Y'all, if it doesn't want to line up, just take your time and it'll work out. There we go. Now then, I might have to trim just the tiniest little bit, and that's fine. Just take my little scissors here and trim that top a little bit. Alright, now I have my little pocket right here. So I've got a pocket right there and a flap. And this I'm going to adhere right there. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this bag. I haven't cut off the ends because I'm not really sure what length I'm going to wind up cutting it at. There we go. Now mind you, this is going to be the binding down here. Next I want to make the insert for this first flat page. To do that, I'm going to need Mat and Insert, which is found on page 23. I'm going to do that in the solid color, and then 36 matte 1/4 inch. That's on page 36. I'm going to need 2 of those. I'm going to ink all of this, and then I'm going to adhere those, and I'll be right back. I have the insert made. Now I'm going to pull the page over, and remember, this is going to be where the binding goes on, so that will be cut off. So anyway, I've made the insert, and now it's time to slip it in there. And it's going to be a little bit tricky to get in there, y'all, because of the way that it's cut pretty tight. Alright, so there it is. There's my first page. So, and it's got an insert here. And there you have it. And we'll go to work on the next page. Now we're constructing the opposite side to this page we just created. I did go ahead and trim this off, and I inked that edge. So now we're working on this side. So for this side, I do have page 10 all inked up, cut out, scored, and folded. We're going to also need the number 36 matte in 1/4 inch, page 36, and you'll need 2 of those in pattern paper. And then also the number page 23 matte, and you're going to need 2 of those in a cardstock. Oops, there's the ink side. And then 2 in the pattern. Okay, there, I think that's going to be about right. So now I'm going to go ahead and erase my marks, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. I have inked all the other pages up, I just haven't inked this one up yet. Not sure which side that it goes. There we go. Just like that. Alright, so there that one goes. Now, we've got to get these. So the pattern ones are going to go on the bottom. Same thing with this one. Oh, I should have done that little glue stick deal, shouldn't I? Alright, there we go. Now, for the flap, and this is going to be a little bit tricky because what I want to do is I want to lay this on top of here just a little tiny bit where I can get it right back off that adhesive. Okay. And I'm going to get it right where I want it. Alright, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive all over this flap. And I don't want that to come off. So I'm going to use a little bit of score tape. Alright. Now we're going to lay this down to pick up this green. And we're going to pull that up. And I'm just going to rub that off. A little piece of adhesive right there. And you want to be real careful so that you don't get any adhesive like I did on the edge. We're going to do the same thing now on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go this way with it. Just like that. And then on this side, we're going to adhere to this. Now then, there we go. Now what this will do then is this. Wait a minute. Okay, we've got to make sure we've got it the right way. Okay, this is our first page. We're going to turn this over. And this is going to go in here. But we'll get it in there. It's just because it hasn't been in there before. Okay, so this is going to go this way. Here's our first page. Boom, boom. And then this is our second page. And we're going to put the little mats on there. Try it both ways if it's not looking right in one direction. And then we'll very good. Alright, so now this is going to be bound on in our book, okay? And then this, which has a pull-out photo mat, like so, and then we'll turn the page over, and this pulls all the way out. So anyway, I'm going to make all of the pages just like this, and then we'll make the covers and the binding. Okay, so the next thing that I did for this little book that we made the pages for is I took cover number 41 and I used that for my covers. As you can see, I had to cut just a little bit off of the end of it. Then for the binding, I used page 52. I did have to cut just a little bit off of here, and this is the binding for 4 pages. So, or I did 4 pages in all. So that's that. Then for the spine, I used 54, and I did have to trim that down just a little bit. What I did to figure out how much of this I needed to trim, how much of this cover I needed to trim, was I took my page and laid it down on top, and then I just took a pencil and just gave it about an eyeball, a half an inch or so, made a mark, and then that's what I used to put in my cutter and cut that off. And the same thing with the binding and the spine. The next thing that I did was on page 7. I printed and cut some of the tall mini envelopes, and I cut those out and inked them after I attached everything. And then I just took the envelope there, and this is some of my embellishments that I'm going to be using for this book. And I just got a clip. You could use really any kind of paper clip that you wanted to, and just clip that in there. And I did that on all of the pages. So really all of the pages are going to be alike. Then on the front cover and the back cover of this little book, what I did was I made this flip side of the page and put it on here. So if you look, I've got the inside little ticket that we talked about. I've got the inside little mats that pull out. And then this is the sack, the paper sack that we used as the base right here. I just glued it directly to the book. And then this is one of the mats. Let me look. I believe it is, let's see, I think it's page number 22. So now I want to tell you about these tags that go into these pages, which I'll call the B side, which flip out. These little tags right here. When you print out all of the page 10s that you need, you're going to have this little strip that's left over, this little belly band that's left over. So what I did is I took that belly band and I folded it in half. Okay, that was the belly band. Folded it in half. I trimmed some of it off of here. I didn't measure it. I just stuck it in there and trimmed some off of there. And then I used a decorative corner rounder, and you could just use a regular corner rounder, or you could leave it plain, whichever you wanted to do. Then I just took some leftover design paper and cut a little strip to go across there just to decorate it a little bit. So, and then that just opens up for a little bit of extra journaling. So I just wanted to explain how I made that little tag. I just saw the leftovers from the belly band and didn't want to waste the papers, and I had plenty of leftover design paper there, so I just thought, well, why not add another little decorative piece there. So that's what I did. I hope y'all have enjoyed watching the video of how I created the pages for this mini album. And again, the covers, spine, and binding are linked below to the videos that Jenofeve did on how to do those. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment or shoot me a message. As always, I really appreciate you watching. And until next time, thank you again for watching. Bye now.